are now watching S, I guess.
Versus, like, I ended up seeing from S's perspective of the video we did, and my microphone did not sound as clear as I'm hearing it on my end. And so I don't know if it's somewhere, you know what I mean, with like Discord with.
No, and that's fine.
Up.
Is that better? I changed my bass and mid and treble a little bit.
That's so rude, S. That's so rude. I'm
sorry.
Okay.
We'll cut that out. Hey,
go ahead and. Are you recording, Spectre? And S, are you recording?
Hi everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to the Untitled Zombies podcast, episode 3. We're finally back after like a year of not doing this.
We may be back, but is Call of Duty back? That's what I want to know.
Now that is a very good question, Spectre, and that will lead into some of our questions later on. First off, I want to ask you guys a very important question. Who in the hell HE double hockey sticks enjoyed the farm survival beta?
I thought it was pretty good. My overall impressions were it was missing a lot of what the main game will give us, but I like the aesthetic. I like the guns. Yeah, they were a bit underpowered, but I think a lot of that will fix at launch.
Yeah, you want my professional opinion?
Go ahead.
Mid. No, I'm kidding. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I mean, you know, I got my fun out of it, but overall, I think the main problem with it was damage scaling with zombies and just you know, like weapon reload. It was just way too slow. It just wasn't fun to use. And sure, a lot of people will probably be saying, augments will fix it, but I don't think you should rely on augments to make your game playable. Just my opinion. Don't shoot me.
So I think for me personally, I really like the aesthetics of the map and the overall atmosphere. I think the I don't know what box, I don't know what it was called, down like in the basement of the farm, like the farmhouse, I think was really cool. The fact that it was like actively talking and stuff like that. It definitely
the Cortifex box.
The flesh.
Yeah, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely feels very reminiscent of a lot more like classic zombies in terms of its atmosphere. I think my main gripes with the map, or there's a few different things. I actually disagree with S in regards to reload speed and weapon damage, to an extent. I do think because in Black Ops 6 right now, when you reload with
wrong.
You know, having, well, I'm making a case here. But no, the thing is like if you have all the correct attachments and you really tailor your gun towards reload speed, reload is almost instantaneous, right? And so I feel like, especially in older zombies, part of the challenge was kind of, you know, do I want to reload right now and maybe get caught in a situation where, you know, you really need to be shooting your gun? And it's not like a huge deal, but it is a kind of a risk versus reward. Like I said, not super impactful, but it's a small thing in moment to moment gameplay. And I do think that it's something that I do enjoy. In regards to damage numbers and stuff like that, I do like the fact that the actual individual zombie is a little bit more of a threat as opposed to in prior more recent modern entries. My main issue is I don't like the fact that the Doppelgast is returning, because I just hate the fact that we keep having the same enemies come back. And I know.
Can I add on to that?
No, you can't. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Frick you, dog. No, I think the problem is that it just felt really tacked on. It's like most people probably didn't even know that the Doppelgast was in the map, but yeah, it is. You have to get to round 40, and the Doppelgast will just randomly spawn out of nowhere and start chasing you. Like it's so like tacked on, it just makes no sense to me. And
I completely agree.
Since like survival itself is like in the Ashes of the Damned map, I'm guessing if we get to round 40 on Ashes of the Damned, we're just gonna have a Doppelgast chasing us. Like, is this what we're gonna keep doing, Treyarch? Like, buddy, pow,
Well,
chump.
and the,
Like,
and the thing is that they've mentioned that they're trying to have a lot more unique enemy types for the maps, as well as reducing the amount of like ranged attacks that enemies can still do. And it goes back to communication, right? They've been saying a bunch of this stuff, but when we're actually seeing the execution, I'm just not seeing it. And to be fair, like I said, it could be something where this is only on the farm survival map, it's not in the main map. It could be that it's in the main release. Ultimately, we'll have to wait until the full game's out in order to see. But it's a certain level of setting expectations and then meeting them. And I feel like right now it's kind of definitely a concern moving forward because it's like,
can
okay, we're not going to be seeing these characters
Um,
come back. Yeah, here they are.
it's the fact that, number one, right, for me at least, it seems that multiplayer is getting a lot more love than zombies is right now. That's no fault of Treyarch. I get it, because obviously Battlefield 6 is coming out and they're basically rushing to make a good game, like no matter the costs at this point, right? And I get that.
yeah.
And so they're putting all their development time into multiplayer. I understand it completely. I understand where it is. I understand why. However,
Um,
however, um, it just seems to me like a lot of the problems that they clearly see, and they probably won't do a lot about after the beta, and obviously now the beta's ended, uh, but a lot of the problems that are currently here, currently in light after this beta, after our moment of clarity from what we were playing, um, it just seems to me like a lot of these problems will not be fixed, just due to the fact that they're banking on curse mode being the be all end all fix. Whereas we also know that curse mode will not be unlockable, well, will not be playable unless unlocked, which I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know what the qualifications are to get it, but we'll have to wait and find out. Just my problem
and
is that they're banking on a game mode that we can't even play at launch to fix these problems for us.
and if I may jump in, I agree with that to an extent. At the same time, I think standard really works, but they need to get the damage scaling right. And at first, I did think it was just augments, but the more I looked into it, there's something weird with the damage scaling in this game. I went back and played some BO6 earlier today after the beta, and I noticed I'm putting out very similar damage numbers in BO6 as I am BO7, and it's just taking more shots. So they're giving the zombies more health, and I think it can be a good thing, but I think they need to strike a good balance,
It can be a
and I
good
don't
thing,
think
but it
they
shouldn't
found
be in
it yet.
standard. It should be in cursed.
Well, I'm fine with it being in standard because BO6 standard was a bit too easy. If they want to add a bit more challenge to standard, that's fine, but they need to find a good balance. For instance, the reload I think is a good thing, as Spectre said. I think it brings back a bit more challenge and removes the ability to just sit in a corner and camp the entire game.
It's fine. It's just my problem with the reload is that it's always caused me bullshit deaths for no reason. Like every time,
Yes.
it's caused me
But is that
bullshit
not
deaths for no reason.
is that not kind of what I was referring to though, where it adds a little bit more risk reward, where it's
Yeah,
like,
but
hey,
they're
if
deaths
you
that
reload enough
I didn't earn those deaths. At least I felt cheated out of those deaths because the reload
to
speed
an
was
extent,
so damn slow that I
to
died.
an extent, I agree. At the same time, I want to look at a couple of things that, although you say we shouldn't rely on augments, I do think perks matter. And part of the perk system is augments. I think when you have the full
Perks
reload,
matter,
hold on.
but augments haven't always been a part of zombies. So explain
No,
why
but
augments matter now. All of a sudden,
because
they're like the most major
one of the
important
augments,
part of perks now. Like, what's up with this?
one of the augments on Speed Cola, the most used one on Speed Cola, at least that I know of, brought your reload speed up to classic Speed Cola, which was 50% faster. As well as if you look at Elemental Pop, that also gives you Electric Cherry, which I think will be much more spent on putting it on those perks instead of dropping something on, oh, I'm going to put a little extra damage for my Elemental or whatever on Elemental Pop. I think you're going to really want to focus in on getting
I thought that was stupid in
getting cherries.
BO6.
I want to kind of chirp in here because I think an issue you're going to run into, right? And I understand your concern, right? Is if you're not going to have any augments, the perks should be viable in and of themselves. The
Yes.
problem is, as long as the augments are going to be here, that balancing is simply not going to work. And the
No,
problem
I
is, for
understand that.
example, you have that one augment for speed cool, and I don't remember the exact number right now. I know Dogcatcher mentioned like 50%.
It's 30 to 50.
Okay,
It goes from 30
some
to 50.
yeah, but it's like if the base speed is already increased substantially, does that not going to mean that you're going to reload almost instantly and it's going to get to the point where it's too
I'm
easy and too overpowered?
gonna say this, right? And I think it's annoying that I have to say this, but I'll say it anyway. Um, Obviously there will be a cursed relic where you can play without augments and have the base original perks. I'm sure that will be a thing, 100%, right? My problem is then is that again, cursed is not the main mode. So why are you creating problems in standard
Um,
mode just for a mode that
well,
isn't
I don't know
even
if it'll
like your
be.
main priority?
I don't know if it'll be no augments, but I think something like classic formula would belong in cursed. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes, but
So I think that would be one fix, as well as I think
again, but
elemental
my
pop
problem
should have
is
cherry
like,
on it.
why are we getting a fix for a mode that isn't even a main mode? And why are
Well,
we?
but you have augments in standard, so in what way would that be an issue in standard? I get what you're saying in regards to, augments should not replace balancing, but I think the thing is because augments are still a thing, they need to be balanced with augments in mind. And I
And I
understand
think as well as
I think my main
go ahead.
problem there is, I think my main problem is though there is that with Cursed being a secondary mode, they're treating it more like a main mode, but we don't have access to it straight away, and we have to unlock it for every single map every single time. And so I don't get why they're putting it behind a progression wall if they're expecting it to fix all the problems for certain people.
I think to an extent, and I'm going to keep saying to an extent because there's always a limit to where there's right, but then I think there's also room for understanding that they're trying to make a balanced mode that works for all player types. I think it sucks that Curse is locked behind a play wall, progression wall, whatever you want to call it. But I do think that Cursed is going to be a big mode once it's unlocked, and I think it's going to be a big part of the game. But going back to standard, augments are a vital part of it, and I think having Cherry, the classic formula speed cola, the way armor is going to work, all of that is going to matter so much more than the weapon reload is slow or the damage and that stuff like that. As long as they buff the damage or get the damage scaling right, however they got to do it, as long as they get that right in the early game to mid game, then it's fine. For instance, I think it's weird that guns still kill on like round 40 in BO6. I think the drop off point in BO7 is good. I just think it takes too long to get to a point where you're actually powerful. Maybe the rarity system needs a tweak, or maybe it's just essence, but I think it's that. And I also think they're putting a lot more emphasis on attachments. So a lot of people run extended mags, but maybe it'll be more wise to run fast mags to get that quicker reload.
Yeah, but then the problem with fast mags is, again, they've dropped the amount that you can hold in a clip, even with fast mags. So you just basically do not have enough ammo to even, like, think of running fast mags. You
Well, but
just
that's the
wouldn't.
thing is that
There are
it
drop offs
forces
though.
you. Well, yeah, that's exactly it. It forces you to either you can reload faster, but you're going to have less ammo, or you can have more ammo, but you're not going to get that reload speed. And so it forces the player to kind of make that decision of which one would they rather take.
And
Right?
I get
There's
that,
cons to
but
both.
they've created a problem and then created a solution, but then created another problem on top of that solution.
I don't know if it's as much as trying to create a problem or accidentally
they're
creating a problem. I think
they've
it's
accidentally created a problem.
I don't think it's really a problem as much as it's them trying to focus in on because multiplayer has those drawbacks. But in zombies, if you use extended mag, what's the point? Your reload's already lightning fast. It doesn't really matter if you put extended mag on because you're still going to reload in 2 seconds. I didn't have the issue with, I'm going to run fast mags in BO6 because you reloaded so fast. That's what made camping viable. That's what made that game so much easier.
and I agree with that. I just think my problem is their solution to that is nerf everything.
When I think
I think there's balancing issues, but I don't think it's exactly nerfing.
Now, I'm sure hardcore players will like it. I'm sure hardcore players will be like, okay, this is really good. This is a good change, right? I'm not the type of person who wants to play standard. I do want to play cursed. Like, I will probably primarily play cursed, right? But I also just don't want, like, stupid deaths for no reason other than the fact that Treyarch created a problem that should just be not there. I don't know, it's just artificial problem making to make the game harder because they've made the game too easy for casuals to get into. And that's at least my opinion.
No, and I get that. And it's kind of an issue I had with older zombies where they put these I don't know what to call it, almost like hurdles in the way. Every map had something that took away from the player instead of offering the player more opportunity to get better, which is something that Blundell did. Is the progression of the map made you a lot stronger as you play, but there's more to do and more challenges to get to it. And Zelensky's style of maps really focused on, we're going to make the game harder on the player. What are we going to take away as a way to make the player change how they play the game? Which, to me, is a very bad precedent to set. But as of now, if it's just reloads and they fix the damage scaling, I'm good.
Then perfect. No, then I'd have genuinely zero. Well, I'd have problems. I have problems with modern zombies, but other than that, those are like my main problems. Like my main problems. If they fix that, then I'm all good. The problem is those problems are quite glaring, and if the base game already doesn't play super like good, like if the main game already has problems, then the cracks are going to start showing once the augments come in. The cracks are going to start showing once they start like adding on top of the base, right?
Agreed.
That's just always how it's going to be. Now moving on, because I think we've talked enough about the zombies beta.
Exactly.
Obviously, this is a zombies podcast, so we're going to get on to the
I do want to
multiplayer.
add one thing in real quick before we
Okay.
move on.
Yes.
I think one thing too, also that's a very big positive over Black Ops 6 is the zombie pathing and the overall zombie AI. I feel like that was a main issue I had in Black Ops 6 is there were a lot of times where, like, if you were to slide around a zombie, right, there were times where it's like you really shouldn't get hit, but you still would just because of how aggressive they were. And I feel like in here it was way more fair, and it was, especially with the zombies, like the damage scaling, it was very much kind of a, if you were paying attention, it's easier because it's easier to kind of coordinate around the zombies. But if you're not paying attention, they will absolutely let you know, and you will get screwed over.
Oh, no,
and I do like
that
kind of skill gap.
And I loved that, because with Black Ops 6, my main problem with this, and Dogcatcher can vouch because I play Black Ops 6 zombies with him
a lot.
We play The Reckoning a lot, yeah, to do like
1,000 times.
Yeah, pretty much.
By the way, yes, I think you should replay it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't remind me. That's also
S loves replaying
zombies, and I will get back to that probably later, but the pathing was really good. And I think my little nutcase conspiracy theory is that they've changed the pathing so they can add shields, like an actual shield into the map, so people are like happy. But I think or like just to make
training viable.
Yeah, or
especially with class with
like actually viable in this game, right? I think it's a good thing because it actually adds some skill. But my problem with Black Ops 6 zombies is that the pathing was so easy to maneuver around that I would genuinely just go brain dead after a couple like 30 minutes of playing. Like I would genuinely just like my brain would go numb and I just wouldn't like be able to do anything because it's just so it's boring. If anything, the pathing made the game boring.
BO6?
Yeah.
Yes, I also think that the pathing in that game it's weird
Well,
because
it's the same as BO4, and BO4 also has, but the problem, the thing with BO4 is that obviously it took away Jug, and so it made the game 10 times harder.
well,
mean,
I
they gave-
I
they-
actually
They
sort
gave
of
you
kind of
Jug as, like,
disagree
base, but no, I mean, Black Ops 4 is quite a hard
because
game.
when I was playing
Another thing,
Farm. Go ahead, Spectre. I'll let you.
another thing along with the zombie pathing is also like super sprinters. And I feel like that's another thing too that like dramatically changes the way the game plays, and I feel like makes it
For sure.
feel a lot smoother. And that's, I feel like it was a main issue for me as well in Black Ops 6. Is like I said, the super sprinters were just, I don't know, they just didn't seem very fun to fight for me at least.
No, and I definitely agree with you on that, because the Super Sprinters just had a very straight path. Like, they just went directly to you. There was no, like, in between where, if you look at original Super Sprinters, they had, like, a little sway to them where you could, like, kind of maneuver around. These zombies were just straight on your ass, right? But it wasn't like a fair, oh, they got me type of thing. It was like, oh god, Super Sprinters, here we go again. And again, another problem I have, right, is they fix zombie puffing. Great, amazing. I'm glad that they did that. It's a great change to the game. Ravagers. You want to talk about Ravagers?
What about them per se?
Enjoy them.
I hate the Ravagers. Not as like an enemy type. They're fine as an enemy type. The way that they work is fine. They're just kind of like vermin, but they don't like jump. They don't have that like slow that they run towards you, right? I get that. It's like the denizens. Cool. I had so many problems with them during the beta. They would despawn. Their pathing would glitch, and they would just like jump around like in a circle, go up and down and shit. It was so weird. Or they just like stand in a window and like do nothing and then despawn, and then the max ammo would have to like fly to you. It was so weird. It was such a weird thing. I'm sure it'll be fixed in the main game. At least
By
I hope
launch,
it's fixed
yeah.
in the main game. But it was just it was a really off-putting thing that they fixed zombie pathing, but they couldn't even like do special zombies. Like the smaller zombies in the map didn't work properly.
Yeah. I think it'll be fixed by launch. I think that's not really.
I'm hoping so, but if it's not, then I am probably going to touch on that a bit more later on, because it is it's
fair
kind of
enough.
big. Yeah, it's kind of a big problem for me. It was a very big problem for me.
The last thing I want to add about zombie pathing before we move on to another topic real quick is you said it felt like BO4 and BO6. I kind of disagree, because BO4 and Cold War's training felt really similar to me.
BO4. I said the pathing was BO4's pathing, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it was.
It is BO4's pathing. It is BO4's pathing,
because
right? It just was.
Let me say this though. I think you're wrong, and I'm going to explain why. I think the pathing in BO6 was a lot like MWZ, honestly. And it was a lot like Vanguard. But if you look at BO7's pathing, it feels a lot like Cold War, which is almost a direct copy from BO4. They slowed down the zombies, and if you notice, when the zombies hit you, they hit you from any side. In
okay,
BO6.
no, I was being an idiot. Sorry, I was mixing up BO6 and Cold War. My bad.
Because
yeah, sorry. No, BO6 is zombie pathing is like Vanguard, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, which is the same as MWZ.
Yeah.
So when you jump to BO7, I think they got back to regular zombie pathing, because I think they had a lot more time to focus on that and how that works. So it really zoned back into that BO4 Cold War feeling,
that was
which was the old. No, it's just that's the old engine. That's how the old zombies pathed.
Yes.
Because they don't swarm you and box you in like they used to, which is part of the reason why I think they nerfed the weapons a bit. But honestly, I think if they just do strict damage numbers to you, always 50 health with armor mitigating damage down to 30% instead of 100, however they do it.
I think it's 4.
Or whatever the numbers are. You get my point.
Yeah.
To bring down that, I think that's a better way to do it. Hopefully they figure something out. But the zombies in this game they hit you as you pass you. They don't come on and grab you and swarm around you. This is more of a side swipe, like as you're passing by. It's very much focused against you, but it's not focused against you in the way that it's going to trap you for playing the game.
We actually move on to multiplayer, because I do want to touch on that. I do also want to say this, right? Spectre,
Yes.
shut up. In the Reckoning, Spectre, shut up. In the Reckoning, I had a very big,
What
a
what
very
topic
big.
are you going to address?
No, there's a very big problem with Reckoning, and it's that
Wonder.
it's that when you kill zombies, where's the armor plates?
Right there. You just got to pick them up. You got to replay.
No,
So I did find something out about armor. It's weird. Wonder weapons don't drop armor very much. Explosive weapons don't drop armor very much.
Okay.
I found that out
Interesting.
really late. So if you're using the
That's
Gorg
why they
effects
never have
or
any
explosives,
He's using a regular weapon.
Okay, interesting, but that doesn't explain to me why, for some weird reason, in Black Ops 7, when I'm not using explosive weapons, they're still not dropping enough armor plates.
were you using the
Why?
ray gun? Because the ray gun does the same thing.
I mean, yeah, I was using the ray gun, but
That's
for
probably
quite a few,
part of it.
But the thing is,
As
right,
well
is like I would
as-
switch to my LMG to try and get armor because I was using the LMG throughout most of that beta.
There's less armored zombies in BO7 too.
No, exactly, and that's the thing, right? I would constantly find myself running to the table to buy more armor. And the
Yes,
problem with,
I also think hardened plates is going to be a big thing in BO7 since you have hardened and durable plates now. You can
But I
run
think
two
again,
minor augments.
I think a lot of my problems with Treyarch stem from one simple sentence. There's a middle ground, and they can't find it. I've said this to Dogcatcher quite a few times. There's a middle ground, and they just can't find it. There's a balance between, dropping too much armor and not dropping enough, right? And I think they probably saw that they were dropping too much armor in Black Ops 6, like in the like Maps of War Reckoning. Yeah. And I agree, there was too much armor. There was way too much because it didn't incentivize you to go to the table and buy some, right? But again, now they've made it so that they've reduced it so much there's basically none. So you're screwed pretty much. If you're in like the boss fight which doesn't have a table so you can't buy armor, you're screwed. You won't be able to buy armor. The zombies aren't dropping armor. You're basically like vulnerable because Juggernaut does nothing in BO6. You're screwed. Like there's no getting out of that.
Yeah.
And so
and that's another thing too I don't like with going back to the whole damage scaling is I feel like for me personally I much prefer an older zombies when the zombies just did a set amount of damage.
And I was saying that earlier.
Yeah.
I agree.
And like I said, it just goes back to a lot of these are just problems that stem directly from modern zombies. And as long as some of these newer modern zombies mechanics are going to be implemented, they're always going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. But yeah, it seems, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's some spiritual force, but it just stops zombies from dropping armor ever, especially in boss fights. For some reason, it's so scarce in boss fights to find armor, right? I don't get that to me.
I do think part of it isn't exactly that they make it harder to get armor in boss fights. I think the panic kind of sets in, and to get armor to spawn, you got to set a lot of damage into a zombie with armor over time. If you kill them instantly, because you're using your wonder weapon or something, if you're using a high damage weapon that kills them instantly, armor won't spawn as often. It's got to be something that you're shooting into them and kind of break the armor over time.
I
don't know why that's the case.
I panicked in Black Ops 6 was during the Shattered Veil and the Reckoning. That was the only time I ever panicked in like a.
But what I mean is, like, you're not going to use your bullet weapon all the time.
No, and I get
Like
that.
for instance,
Yeah.
Shattervale, you're using the Mark II. There's no armor in Shattervale's boss fight. It's
See,
because
but
armor
that's
spawns
what's
less with
so
Wonder
weird
Weapons.
to me, right, Dogcatcher? Because I find more armor in the Shattered Veil boss fight than I do in Reckoning. I don't know how we've had two separate experiences here. Because in Shattered Veil, I always get armor drops. Like it's very hard it's very hard not to find armor for me, right? Whereas with Reckoning, it's like I cannot find armor ever when I do the boss fights. Like it's not possible. Like I've got really good at like conserving and whatever, but it's just I shouldn't have to do that. It's been real hard. So it's just it's hard. It gets hard, and I don't know. It's hard to find armor.
Mhm.
Like I said, it's something that I do feel like with augments, and which I know it keeps going back to that conversation. I do think with augments will be better, especially with the Vulture Raid. There's an augment I run where you get like extra drops and stuff like that, and I do feel like I get more. I mean,
And
it does its job.
if you saw, this is a leak, so spoilers ahead. Mule Kick is back in BO7.
Ooh.
One of the augments is called Pack Mule. I'm wondering if that is going to increase the amount of armor plates that you can hold at once. So it's going to be like the
Could be.
armor satchel from Warzone, bring you from 3 to 8 or something like that,
I
which
have
would be a
feeling it's
massive
something to do with
change.
the Pack-a-Punch, but
It could, but I do
could
think they're going to
definitely
do
see
one
them
that gives
doing
you more
something.
armor holding.
Yeah,
I mean maybe.
because even
it
if they do
might-
something where
I would like them to make Mule Kick actually useful for once.
Which I think adding more armor slots, like for you to hold more, I think the 3 weapons is good, as well as I think if they gave you more tacticals, just allowing you to hold more, increase your reserve ammo. I think if all of that is part of Mule Kick's a W perk in the game, and I'm happy for it to be back.
Do we
But
have
if it's
anything
just 3
else
weapons, it's going to be mid.
to add on from that? Or is that all of our beta impressions so far? Because I had fun with it. I did have fun with it. I
at least
enjoyed
in
it.
terms of the
Yeah.
zombies, I think that's it
For
definitely
zombies,
feels like a far
that's
more
about it.
refined. It feels like a much more refined version of Black Ops 7
Yep.
or Black Ops 6. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Yep.
definitely a good sign of
that's a
things to
good
come.
that's a good baseline for me because as much as people hate on Black Ops 6 Zombies, I quite enjoyed it.
I really
Like,
enjoyed
the
it.
base
Yep.
game is quite fun. There are
As you guys know,
problems. Again, there
I
are
know life
problems.
that game. I'm currently rank 934, and I plan on being 1,000 before Black Ops 7 releases.
Again, there are problems, but they're problems that I'm hoping will be addressed in Black Ops 7. And so far, they're doing a pretty good damn job at addressing those problems for me. So, let's move on to what everyone's probably been waiting to hear in the Untitled Zombies podcast. Multiplayer! How did we all enjoy multiplayer this year, boys? Or how did we enjoy multiplayer in the beta this year, boys? Because as we know, the beta and the main game are always two different experiences.
Well, I gotta say this. I think the beta for the multiplayer was overall pretty mid. Yeah, I don't like these playlists they add. Every time I got into this new playlist open, whatever, I mean, I got schwacked. It was a really bad experience. So I don't know what they did with the matchmaking, but they really screwed it up.
And I gotta add on to that. I just gotta say, like, the open play. I mean, I just went back to the standard playlist. I had no idea what the hell that thing was.
Exactly.
It's just so weird that they added that.
No,
Spectre,
added it, but
what are
I
your
do recall
thoughts?
that they get rid of SBMM. I think. I
Yeah,
just didn't like the open playlist.
I think it was a terrible idea. I don't know why they did
exactly.
it. It just didn't make sense to me.
Did you guys hear they are getting rid of SBMM at launch though?
Yep.
Oh, damn it.
No,
After all of their testing, on a real note though, for real.
On a real note, W, Treyarch.
Is Call of Duty back? Is the question. You asked that question, and at least for multiplayer,
And
If we're not back
Smitty's
now,
head pops
we
up.
will be soon.
His head pops up and he goes, "Did somebody say Call of Duty? Did somebody say back?"
I'd
Does that
like to
sense?
think it's like the bat signal. It just anytime somebody said is Call of Duty back, he knows. It's like a
Yeah,
telepathic.
I agree.
He
knows.
wakes up. He wakes up. No, I think it's good. I think it's amazing.
It's like the baby from
I
Teletubbies, you know?
genuinely did not think that we would ever get no skill-based matchmaking in a COD game ever again. I genuinely thought that we were just doomed to repeat this cycle over and over and over. But no, we're finally back. From leaks, I've heard that it's more like COD 4 SBMM, which is basically non-existent. So again, W track. Gotta give props where I can. However, do have some problems. And it seems it's very... I will touch on this. It seems it's very controversial to talk about problems with the open playlists. Because these people that have been asking for no skill-based matchmaking for years, no offense to you guys, because I've also been doing it, I'm just not like you, are fucking goblins. It seems to me that instead of increasing skill-based matchmaking, which obviously they haven't done, awesome, incredible, they've increased the OMM, so engagement optimized matchmaking. So, you know, it just, you get into a cycle of a lot of, like, good games, and then you get into, like, a couple bad games. It's basically this, it's basically what people were blaming skill-based matchmaking on. That certain thing, like
That may potentially be the case. I do also wonder if part of it came from the fact that this is the beta and they had the two separate playlists. So I wonder if a lot of the people that were getting annoyed by the sweats in open playlist jumped back to the SBMM mode, because I heard it did get really easy after a while. So I wonder if people left to go play that. I heard that it got easier. So if it did, I wonder if a lot of people left to go back to that to avoid the Warzone sweats that started playing.
Because you can't.
No, I did not go back to it.
Little baby, wow. His pants.
No, I actually did not go back to it. But I did have some really rough games, especially towards the very end of the beta. But I don't know if it was EOMM.
Oh, I remember.
I don't.
Oh, I remember.
Or, yeah, I was pretty angry.
Not having a very fun time, that's for sure.
Either way, my point is, I wonder if it was just an imbalance of the lobbies, because a lot of people were still across two different matchmaking types. I think a part of that will be fixed with persistent lobbies, as well as the whole thing of when we're playing the game and all that, that it will be focused more towards one type of matchmaking instead of splitting it between two.
I think another thing too is, at least for me personally, that I really enjoyed is with Black Ops 6, an issue I kept running into is it would take like 5, 10, almost 15 minutes for me to find a multiplayer match at times. Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like... And
I think it's funny because, like, sorry, Spectre, I don't want to cut you off, but I think it's funny.
Crazy. I keep getting cut off.
I think it's funny because they're not even extreme, like, circumstances or situations. Those are pretty normal times to be waiting for a match in Black Ops 6.
Yeah. When it goes back, it's like, even if I'm getting curb stomped, I don't want to sit there and wait that long to find a match. You know what I mean? And it's like...
To get curb stomped.
Well, yeah, but my thing is too, right? It feels like even if I'm not necessarily the greatest player, it at least feels fair. It doesn't necessarily feel like there's some algorithm in the background that is actively trying
it just
to
feels
screw
like
me
if
over.
I'm bad, I get stomped.
Yeah, and I feel like it feels a lot more fair, and so it's a lot less frustrating, at least for me, because like it's not just the algorithm is just saying, okay, you're done. It just the players are saying that. You know,
you need it on Verdansk. Yeah, no, it's the players.
I need it on Verdansk. Yep,
exactly.
One thing I did really like about this beta though is, and it's just BO7 as a whole, but the guns, they're really good in this game. I think they feel a lot better than a lot of the BO6 guns. They just, in BO6, they started to feel like every gun was overall the same. So far in the beta, everything feels really different. There's maybe one or two guns that feel really similar, but everything feels different for the most part. Like I think maybe one of the SMGs and the AR kind of crossed over a little bit. It was the Dravik and like the M15, but overall everything felt different. Like the MXR-17 felt really different from the other guns. And the M8A7 was amazing. Yeah, the Rampart. I was calling it by what they called it in the game, but yeah, it's the Rampart.
I'm just
Overall,
calling them the guns that they are, but no, I'll say this, right? Little tip, little advice for everyone who's listening to this and is getting, well, if you've already pre-ordered Black Ops 7 or you're getting Black Ops 7 when it comes out, I found my gun about like 4 days before the beta ended. Dude, the Razor 9mm,
it was really good.
Oh
I hope it
my
gets
God.
nerfed into the ground just for the fact that you enjoy it. I hope
see,
at launch you load in, you go to use it.
For
and
me,
it just sucks.
for me, what I really found is I found 3 guns that I was overall really solid with, and I kind of enjoyed the fact that they were all in different classes. One being the Dravik. That was really fun for an SMG. It had some medium range to it, so you could always take it into a longer range gunfight if you needed to. But it was really powerful close range, and I really enjoyed that.
Pretty good in zombies as well.
Yes, it actually was.
Yeah.
The Razor was also really good in zombies, but that's a
The
completely
Razor
different
was
topic. We'll
good
come back
in
to zombies later.
everything. It was amazing. Oh my God.
Either way, I'm gonna jump back to the multiplayer thing before we get too far into the zombies talk. The M8A7 was a massive gem in this beta. I haven't liked a marksman rifle in multiplayer probably ever until now. If that gives you an idea how much I love this gun. It was so fun, so refreshing, and it felt different from the ARs enough to actually feel like it belonged in its own class.
Well,
I was so
think
tired of just
most
all
of my fun from the
semi-automatic
beta
marksman rifles.
came from calling out the fact that I got kills in the cat cafe. I don't know. It was just made my
Dude,
day.
the Cat Cafe was peak.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
Also, the stability of this game was amazing.
A
what?
I don't want to be that guy. No, I do want to be that guy. It's really fun, actually. Stability
say
of
the
the beta
BO6 beta
never
was good.
determines whether or not the game is going to be stable long term. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You can say that
No.
the stability. You said the stability of the game was great. It's not the game; it's the beta, right? I think
I do think this is one of the stronger
differential.
stabilities we've had in the beta.
Yes, but they always
think I had-
prioritize their servers to the beta when it comes out to give players that good first experience, and then drip feed us the slop of the slow servers later on. And it's proof of BO6
I wasn't even
right
talking
now.
about servers. I was
right now.
talking about like my PC's performance on the game outdid BO6's. Like that's what I was talking about.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I agree with that, and also because like my PC,
It just ran so much better.
Like
it felt a lot more optimized.
And that's what I'm saying. The game did not
it was
feel
held together with a bunch of fucking glue and like,
glue and band-aids.
band-aids. Yeah, exactly. Which was really nice. But no, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I meant by stability. It wasn't the servers. The servers are always COD servers, and we know how that's going to be.
It's just it was good. It was good stability, good performance.
In fact, I don't think COD's run this good on PC in a long time.
No, I agree. It probably hasn't run this good since what, like BO4?
Maybe 2019, since it was a new engine.
I don't know. I didn't even think 2019 ran that good on PC, according to most of the people that
Weirdly
I heard.
enough, Modern Warfare 3's beta ran really well on my PC.
I didn't have my
a lot of
PC at the time.
I heard a lot of people had like very good experiences in Modern Warfare 3's beta on PC. I played it on Xbox, but
And then the full release was really unstable, for me at least.
I hope it doesn't follow that trend for BO7.
that's what I'm saying though, right? It's like every beta is always never representative of how the game's going to be. But
Just fair enough.
But like, I think a good example to be more on the bright side here, for Black Ops 6, the beta was really unstable for me, but launch was really smooth.
See, but I think that's funny because beta was smooth for me, and then launch was smooth for me.
Yeah.
And then later down the road, it just completely fell apart.
Well,
Like,
I
it
think they
just
broke a lot of
crumbled.
BO6 with updates.
Yeah, I think it was like
Um,
season 4 or 5. It just performance
For me, it
wise
was
just
season
dipped on
3.
my
It
PC.
immediately just went.
It may have been season 3. Yeah,
Yeah. It
I
just
kind of took a break from Black Ops 6
just
and just got.
diarrheaed all over my PC internals. Like,
Yeah.
it was over.
And another thing I want to say about the beta here, especially in the multiplayer, is does anyone feel like the streaks were actually like impactful this time around? Like-
Yeah, a little too much. No, it was fun.
I'd rather
Don't get me
rather
wrong.
them be way too overpowered than do nothing.
It was fun.
Because
don't
dude,
get
the
me
streaks
wrong.
in Black Ops 6 are weak.
No,
and then you come in with the
it
wraps
was
and the
fun.
dog, like that's
Don't
fun.
get me wrong, but like the wraps were broken and the dog was broken. They need to be nerfed. I know it's sad to say, but they need to be nerfed.
I disagree. I think
Yeah,
streaks should be
no fun over
devastating.
here.
I think your whole goal should be to stop them from getting wraps.
I don't
Not
think they
to
should. No,
complain
I
that
don't
they
think
have
they
them.
should be. I don't think they should be Black Ops 6 levels of incompetent. But I also don't think that they should be this insane.
They were really OP in BO3 as well. At least when I played. My thing about the wraps, if they're going to do anything to nerf them, is just boost the score it takes to get them.
And I agree.
I
And then do what they
like
did
the
with UAV
overclock
and
system.
Do the overclock with the like lower score, so then you can get it at a lower
Yeah.
score if you want.
I
You
like
have to
the
play to earn
overclock
that.
system. I genuinely like it. My favorite throwable was the return of the cluster grenades. I used them in pretty much every game I played.
I really enjoyed the cluster grenades. I even enjoyed them
And
with zombies.
they were
as well.
addictive. As well as I think another cool thing was the EMP's return as well. It worked really well against the dog, and it didn't feel like it was useless, but it also didn't feel like it was just the end-all be-all equipment that it was in some older games.
And I agree.
It did feel like equipment, and overall, your loadout was very balanced for the most part. I feel like there wasn't any that were like overpowered per se. At least not that I noticed.
Right, Dogcatcher?
Factions? What's that? I've never heard of a feature that they would have never implemented into a game after advertising it. So I don't know
What
what
are
you're
you
talking about.
talking about? It was totally in Black Ops 4. It wasn't just cut.
What game?
Yeah, I
It was
remember it.
there.
I don't know what that
It
is.
was in Black Ops 4. It was,
Yeah, they had
it's
Black
in
Ops
Black
1,
Ops
Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops Cold War, and then Black
hold
Ops
on, I
6.
think you're missing one there, buddy.
You might.
I don't think I am.
But
Listen, Infinite Warfare.
no, going
Infinite
Zombies.
Warfare, that's what it is.
Warfare, that's what it was. Not
Spaceland was fire, by the way.
It really is. Going back to the whole conversation of like balancing and stuff like that for multiplayer, I feel like one of my main issues was the time to kill. I feel like for me, Modern Warfare 3 was honestly probably the best in my opinion. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too fast, and I feel like with Black Ops 6, it was really quick, more than I like.
Same.
I feel like it's just more of the same in this, and I feel like that does affect the overall feel of a game for me. Well, let me rephrase it. I feel like time to kill can make a big difference in the feel of the game in comparison to another, and I feel like it feels way too similar to Black Ops 6 for me, and I don't know. It's not for me.
Who thinks Spectre deserves the death penalty for that opinion? Put it below in the comments. No.
I
This
think
is why I don't have.
I think it's a skill issue.
This is why I don't have the hype button.
Facing the allegations.
I would like to address the allegations. I'm aware I do not have the hype button. It was because I didn't know how to read. It's not even the case. I got notifications saying that I had access to it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And I just didn't
old
bother
SRS
investigating
exploit
further.
now, too.
Yeah.
And it was as I was uploading the video and I saw it, I'm like, shit, it's not there, is it?
Buddy Boy does not have the hype
I
button.
do not have the
Bro-
hype button.
Bro, Mitch Millie got the hype button before you, bro. How does that make you feel?
To be fair, he's the crash out king.
It's true. It's true. I think Mr. Rothwaffles, you just need to do another ARG, and then I could just kind of jump on that and maybe see if I can get some momentum for my channel.
Hold on. I gotta talk to Milo real quick. Milo, I know you're watching this. You love me.
He is not watching this.
Yes, he is, bro. Let me believe. Milo, if you're watching this,
You know who probably will watch this though?
Who?
Everybody's favorite, Mr. T Lexify. You know how he is about stealing content.
He'll sit there and be like, dude, I actually agree with that guy, bro. Like, low key.
That Dogcatcher guy, kind of cute.
How old is he? No, no, the okay.
Of age.
Okay.
That's a first.
No. Oh Jesus! Oh no, I am never working with Mrs. Alexby again. Oh God.
Again.
Again, you worked with him in the first place?
Oh yeah.
Oh hell nah.
Yeah, something about his girlfriend. I don't know.
Yeah, something about hiding a crime. I don't remember. No. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, right, with Time to Kill, is I felt like I was getting into a lot of fights that I should have won, and then I didn't, because for some, I don't know what, like, it felt like Time to Kill was slowed down when you got right in front of someone in, like, close quarters. And they would just
I think
immediately
the hit reg
kill you and go,
got
"Bam!"
really weird at close range, except for one-shot kill weapons, which was really odd.
I
No,
feel like
agree.
that's maybe part of it in regards to the time to kill. It's just the hit reg. Just something about it just makes overall gunfights just feel a little, I don't know.
Oh, back on my original train of
Inconsistent, I feel
thought.
like it's
Milo, please make another ARG. I need content. Please bring me back, bro. It's been ages. No, I think, yeah, hit reg was really weird at like certain places, and I think that's also a problem that I have with them reducing aim assist. Because if you don't know, they're actually reducing aim assist down, so it's like a little less like easy to lock.
Oh, I also think the base removal of tack sprint was a big plus. What do you think about that, S?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
We all know he's crying behind the microphone. He's gonna run a perk now if he wants to use it.
Yeah, S loves tack sprint. I do think the dexterity thing needs to be fixed in some way, shape, or form. Honestly, I never understood using tack stance in COD anyways. I thought that was the weirdest thing about MW3. Just aim. Don't be weird about it.
I enjoy in zombies, but that's really about it.
Even in zombies, I find it kind of weird. I mean, it's got its use cases, but I feel like it should just be something that you select. I don't think it should ever be forced on a player.
It basically boils down to anytime I get bored, I'll just throw it into tack stance and start shooting zombies for a little bit until I get bored of it.
Which is fair enough.
I dropped my phone.
Damn, that's a skill issue.
Oh. So I think the multiplayer was definitely a win. No exception. This is probably one of the strongest multiplayers we've gotten in a while. They got to fix the bugs.
It's good. I'll explain why I like tax.
The map design is
before
great.
everyone
Oh my
starts hating on me
gosh.
because I'm a tax sprint little peasant. No, the reason I like tax sprint, and I think it should be in Black Ops 7, is actually kind of a positive for the community in a lot of ways. I think the problem with removing tax sprint is that Call of Duty, the Call of Duty community always love to hate something and then love it like 2 years later. If you hate tax sprint now, you will eventually love it in 2 years. Just watch, it's gonna happen, and COD will use it as a marketing tactic to bring it back. They just will. And so
I think the
Modern Warfare 4.
I think the main problem.
Sorry, I had to cough. Modern Warfare 4.
Must have been the wind. I feel like the main
That's a really
problem
weird
with
cough, man.
tax
I've never
stance,
heard of that
or not tax
laryngitis.
stance, tax sprint.
Yeah.
I think the main problem with it is the fact that the way you enable it, right? You have to keep pushing the sprint button down a second time, and a lot of people, especially on controller, it takes a toll on controller unless you adjust the keybinds for it.
Or unless you're like me and have Hall effect sticks.
Well, yeah, but it's still just, it feels.
But not everyone
necessary. Well, but
has the money you have, S. Most people can't play in 4K.
4K. I'm
Little
saying
it's a little inside joke.
4K.
That's Miss Billy.
It is in fact an inside joke. But
Ask Mitch Mealy.
like I said,
Just like how
it goes back
9/11
to
was an inside job. All right, good night, everyone.
no.
Okay.
No,
That's gonna have to be a cut. Okay.
cut. All right, take 2, just like the server.
Take 2.
All right.
All right. All right. Let's get focused. All right.
But no, I
6
think
million
like you
got
said,
taken out of the government treasury.
not. But seriously, I think going back to the whole balancing thing, I think if you enjoyed Black Ops 6, you're very much going to enjoy this because it just felt like a more improved version of it. But I feel like it doesn't do enough to be different. And it's not even being different. It just there's a lot of issues with Black Ops 6 that I personally had that just aren't addressed. And like I said, they're not necessarily a big issue for everybody else. Me
But they're big
personally,
issues
it's
for
not my
you.
thing.
And I think me and
Well,
Spectre
yeah,
share
and
a lot
it's
of issues that we have with the game as well, because we've spoke about it quite a bit.
yeah.
What issues in specific are you referencing?
Untitled Zombies podcast. In fact, if you go back,
Where we talk about
to-
multiplayer.
we actually did talk about multiplayer in that one. If you don't remember, Spectre.
I think we did. Yeah, that's right. I think we did.
We did. In episode 1, you can go back. Some of those problems that we address there, and we share the same, mentality on those issues. A lot of them just haven't been addressed here, which is a big L, in my opinion, to me and Spectre. But it's like, obviously they're not big issues to the overall community, so I get why they haven't been addressed yet. But I'm sure maybe they might in the future. It might happen. Who knows?
What issues specifically? Just a little detail. I feel a little left out.
I can't really. There's a lot of issues. There was a lot of issues that you can go back to the first episode and have a look, and then you won't feel left out.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, I don't 100% remember what was
100%
discussed because it's been like
exactly
a year ago.
Like a year now,
but,
yeah.
A
year
but I
since
think,
that
like you
classic
said,
episode
for me,
was filmed.
TTK, I think the environments, which I do feel like the map design is a lot stronger in this as opposed to how it has been in the past. But I feel like in regards to the general aesthetics, I feel like the maps do feel a little too clean in certain areas. And the best way I can describe it is taking a look at some of these maps versus Black Ops 2, right? It just feels, I don't know if like flat is the word for it.
Sterile?
Plastic.
Yeah, very plasticky. That's what I'm looking for. And it's just like, I feel like that's been an issue with modern COD for a while. And
they feel more like toy sandboxes rather than like gritty, modern, futuristic.
Well,
like,
it doesn't necessarily
zones.
even need to feel like super gritty. It just
it just needs to feel like a modern war zone, like the
War zone.
War zone for Dansk. We need it over there.
Which, to be fair, I think that's part of why Warzone Verdansk specifically works so well. It's because it actually feels closer to a real location than anything else we've gotten out of COD in modern years.
Yeah, but even then, it was just
entirely
coming back
disagree
from
about that. But I feel like that should also be something that multiplayer strives for instead of.
Oh no! I completely agree. I'm just saying I think that's part of Verdansk's success.
Like, I feel like a lot of like Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7's maps feel more like a Disney Infinity toy box rather than like an actual like first person shooter map.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about like they've taken the idea of what Nuketown did and turned every map into that.
Yeah, but the problem is that most people still like, and we're a part of this problem, Dogcatcher. We're a part of this. A lot of people when
What do you mean? I've never played Nuketown before.
Multiplayer, they just go and play Nuketown 24/7 because Nuketown's pretty much like one of the only good maps.
Because Nuketown is
because you can't be guaranteed to get a good map all the time unless you play Nuketown 24/7. So I guess you just kind of curse.
And I think a lot of that issue really started in Cold War with the like sterile maps.
No, and I don't disagree.
Because MW 2019 actually did have a lot of really nice looking maps, and they weren't sterile.
You know, honestly, I feel like the first one that really was bad about it was the new Modern Warfare 2. I feel like even Vanguard and Cold War, I mean, there was starting to be kind of that issue, but I think
there's a game that did it worse. There's a game that did it worse in my mind.
I'll say this, right? Cold War aesthetically just felt like BO1 with like modern graphics.
Yeah, but a lot of the maps felt kind of bare. And
No,
I think it's
I
been a
agree, there was
Treyarch
barely
issue in
any
specific
developers
for a
on it.
while.
But I feel like that was also a
And
problem
there's
with
a
BO1's maps
specific
as well.
game that I think started this trend, where it's almost like they're lacking a bit of detail or polish. BO6 went a bit more towards polish. It's still not as strong as it should be, but I think we're getting there at least.
BO3?
Not BO3. No, I'm talking about wait, no other game exists. It's BO3 then Cold War. So
Oh, you're talking about
never
BO4.
mind.
Okay.
He's talking about
No.
the game that he refuses to acknowledge.
Yeah, BO4.
Good old Black Ops 4.
BO4.
I'm gonna have
The
I'm gonna have
multiplayer
Black
maps
Ops 4
felt
Cold War.
very sterile.
Yes, 'cause
Even
all
the graphics.
Yes, because all the development on maps went towards Blackout.
Well, no, I do agree. I think but here's my thing, right? It's Black
Maybe
Ops
part
4
of it is
definitely had
because
that issue, but it was felt more of an isolated case, right? Because you went from Black Ops 4 to 2019, which I felt like didn't really have that issue. The issue,
and then you go to Cold War that had it.
The saturation, yeah. And then Cold War kind of had some of that issues, but I feel like their main issue there was much more of the actual map design and the flow of the maps. I felt like were more of the issue there.
I disagree. Even Raid felt weird in that game, and
Raid felt way too
aesthetically.
big. You guys ever
But like
I don't know if
it's like there's no grime or anything. Everything looks really clean in that game.
Yes, but do you guys like agree with me on this? Like, I don't know. It's a big problem with a lot of Cold War maps. They just like, even the maps that were like, you know, remade from BO2 just feel way too like big, like wide.
No, I agree.
With the newer movement and stuff like that,
which adds to that feeling of barrenness and emptiness and
and that's why
over clean sterileness. Now, I will be fair and say BO6 did improve, like massively.
It did, yeah. Because there's a lot of like details and stuff that are like in the map that make it feel more alive. But I still think it's lacking in a lot of those like older like map design. Like,
no. It's not there yet, but it's a lot better than what it was in the last two Treyarch games. Anyway, and I think BO7 is doing pretty good with it. I think they're a little confused on what to do for the MP, but the zombies so far looks the most lived in.
Big positive. A big positive for the not zombies community, for the whole community. The community as a whole. It's just been a big positive. No skill-based matchmaking. I think the movement, like the wall jumping, is very, very good in that game. It doesn't feel like it's tacked on. It's more for movement rather than combat, to be honest. Like, and I kind of like that in a sense, because it doesn't take away from the overall experience of the game. It doesn't help sweats play any more sweaty than they already are. It just helps you move around the map more, and I like that. But I think overall multiplayer with no SBMM and the open playlist has been a very big positive, and I'm glad we're getting it at launch, because I will probably be playing like that for the foreseeable future.
I think another thing too that I feel like is a very big thing that I feel like not enough people are fully kind of addressing is a lot of these changes are only being made because of Battlefield 6. And I feel like a lot of people like
about that, Spectre.
On the eve of Battlefield 6 at the time of recording, you know, and I feel like the thing is, it's like it's something that isn't talked about enough. It's like it's not about whether Call of Duty will win or Battlefield will win. And at the time of this,
gamers are winning.
No, exactly. It's the consumer, right? Because it's forcing Call of Duty to compete and not be as complacent.
I will say this because I'm glad Spectre brought it up, because I almost forgot. Thank you, Spectre.
You're welcome.
It should not have taken Battlefield 6 to twist Treyarch. Or, well, it's not Treyarch. It's not even Treyarch, because Treyarch wanted to do these changes so long ago that it was just like immediately implemented. You can tell that they've already been working on all this like behind the scenes for ages, right? It's not Treyarch's fault, and I know that for a fact. It's Activision. It should not have taken Battlefield 6 to twist Activision's hand. They should have just let their devs take the time to implement these changes. It should have just been a thing. Instead, we've been left with lackluster, bare bones maps, you know, asterisks after asterisks on top of changes that we've asked for when they give it to us, and then there's always problems that arise on top of that. It's been so annoying to have to deal with these problems and talk about it and then ask them to change it. They change it, and then there's a big asterisk. There's always a big, there's always a
There's
big
some sort of
caveat to it, exactly, every time. And then they fix a caveat and it adds another one. This time there's no caveat on top of it. It is an open. I was so, honestly, the minute I heard about it, I was like, okay, it's going to be open skill-based matchmaking, but then sometimes you get into like a skill-based matchmaking lobby or whatever, right? No, it's full on no skill-based matchmaking.
Well, the thing is, it's not completely removed. It is a far limited version of skill-based matchmaking.
It's COD 4's.
Yes.
Leak has said it's comparable to COD 4's skill-based matchmaking, which means ergo basically none.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to it, but like you said, it goes back to its.
The problem is it should. I get it. Gamers are winning. It's a very big plus, especially for someone like me who is very pro consumer. I always have been. I've spoke about it on the channel many a times. I'm a very big, I'm very big on consumers should get what they're paying for, and consumers should be listened to. Whether or not the company's so big that they probably won't listen to them, I still think that there should be changes that are implemented by big companies. It's the fact of it took Battlefield 6 for this to happen. It's taken way too long, and so now it's like a road of no return for Activision. If they just immediately go back in the next game, it shows to me that they truly do not care. It shows to me that they just did this to appease the fans, which, yes, in a sense they did, but I'm sure Treyarch wanted to do this for a long time because it just seems it was just too well implemented for it to just be a spur of the
I don't think they can go back.
No,
Well,
I don't
and
think
I feel like that
I don't
ties
think
in-
so either. But if Activision twists their hand, makes them go back, they will have to. They will get backlash for it, but they will have to because it's shown before that if Activision says something, they have to listen.
Yeah, I don't think Activision can go back because people will literally just not buy the game at that point because they've proven that they're willing to give it back. They lost their power. You know what I mean?
Once Battlefield probably stopped doing their yearly releases, and then they're still doing Zombies. Zombies fans will still buy it no matter what. It's upsetting, but
I
it's
think
true.
another thing too.
Yeah, but Zombies fans aren't enough to support the game. As you know, Zombies fans only cover about probably 30% of the player base, if that.
No, I arguably disagree though. Zombies fans have got a lot bigger over the years, especially due to Cold War. Yeah, even with I've heard testimonies from people who are I got into it during BO6 or I got into it during Cold War, and I actually
agreed, but it's still a very small portion of the player base because Zombies fans were on board for this game at the start, but their pre-order numbers were still really low.
Yeah.
But see, I feel like another thing too, right, is it kind of leads into another topic here is Modern Warfare 4, right? According to leaks and rumors, obviously it's going to be Infinity Ward's next.
It's going to be bad.
But it's bringing a lot of these issues from modern COD back, right? You're going to have doors, you're going to have, the potential skill-based matchmaking and just a lot of issues in specifically a lot of modern Infinity Ward titles. And even then on Twitter, I forgot what the name of the developer was saying, but he was even saying that the whole thing with skill-based matchmaking was Infinity Ward that was pushing it. They convinced Activision executives to kind of force it on everybody else.
Yeah, and they pushed COD HQ too, which has been an utter failure. And I think Activision's starting to realize we don't need to listen to these guys.
Which is why the thing I'm curious to see, Modern Warfare games have now been given separate launches.
Well, and the thing I'm curious to see is I feel like, we're already seeing kind of the downfall of Warzone, right? It's, its popularity is certainly declining.
On the wall.
It is.
Blackout could save it.
Possibly, but even then, I feel like it's still only
rebrand to Blackout.
Well, it's never going to fully die out, but I feel like it's not going to have the same prevalence that it had before, right?
Which it should.
I remember a big part of, for example, the COD HQ, their at least initial explanation is it would make it far easier for them to have, for Warzone integrations, right? You have everything connected, you can have the weapons and stuff.
By one engine, yeah.
all in one engine, and I feel like especially if that starts going by the wayside, I feel like we're going to start going back to each Call of Duty having their own launcher. It's not going to be tied in with Warzone, but I feel like what that also means is that each studio is going to be allowed to have a little bit more control over their titles, right?
Yes.
And I can see that being the case where it's like, next year you've got Infinity Ward with Modern Warfare 4. And I still feel like because of some of the backlash and stuff, I feel like it's going to be the exact opposite, where I feel like Infinity Ward is going to be forced to make a few changes to their game design to kind of fit with the other CODs. Not much, but a little bit. Probably closer to how it was in Modern Warfare 2019 as opposed to Modern Warfare 2 2022. And so
Electric Boogaloo.
Either that, or because it's so like it's barely in like development right now. I'm pretty sure like Modern Warfare 4 has barely been like worked on.
I've got a feeling they're gonna have to scrap a lot other than their campaign and like
either
guns.
Either scrap a lot, or Activision might just go, I don't know, fans aren't trusting you, you're not good, PR. We might just give this one to Sledgehammer.
No, I don't think they're going to give it the Sledgehammer because I think they want to give
either that.
Yeah, but I think they want to give Sledgehammer the chance to actually cook because Sledgehammer gave them probably their best-selling game in years.
Here's the thing: they did it before with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, right? I want to say this right. Either that or Modern Warfare 4 is going to be so bad of a final product that they will force Sledgehammer to make like another DLC type thing, like they did with Modern Warfare 3.
I could see if there's another failure of a Modern Warfare title, then potentially having Sledgehammer Games be placed in charge of the Modern Warfare series and take over for Infinity Ward. Yeah.
Which would be great.
The only issue that I have...
Honestly, I'd be great if Infinite Warfare took over, or Infinity Ward, or whatever they call the stupid company, took over Warzone and gave Raven their own fucking team.
I would love to see what Raven could do.
Raven cooked when they do.
Yeah.
Like they do.
I mean, I know that Spectre has a special place in his heart for Raven's little game. No, Raven and Neversoft's little game.
Yeah.
Nah, he likes IW, dude. His favorite game is MW2 2022. He told me.
No, I thought your favorite game was MW3.
I enjoyed the raids.
You came home.
I enjoyed the raids.
I told you.
That was actually
told you. Here comes the glaze. Here comes the glaze.
Hold on. Pre-ordering Modern Warfare 3.
What I'm saying?
It's the Radeon situation all over again.
The gameplay itself sucked. The concept of raids in
Call of Duty
basically being Infinity Ward's response to zombies, their own version of a PvE mode where it still has like extra narrative, it still has puzzles and stuff like that. I feel like raids is a really interesting idea. You know what I mean? I feel like it could be a good way of telling the seasonal story.
If implemented right? Yeah.
If really implemented good. Right. And I feel like that's the thing.
Which it wasn't.
Implemented. Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. It wasn't implemented super well in Modern Warfare 2. But it's the same thing with Outbreak in Cold War, right? I feel like especially at launch, it was very bare bones. Obviously, as the seasons went on, I feel like it was a relatively decent side mode, but it had the groundwork for something really special. And unfortunately, according to leaks and stuff, it looks like that got canned in favor of the campaign's new in-game, which I think could be a cool addition. Yeah. And so, like I said, in regards to Modern Warfare 2, that is the very, very little praise I will give it. I did like the concept.
Spectre preferred the Modern Warfare 3 campaign.
He thought those open access missions were really creative and probably the best use of his time when playing that game.
Well, the thing is like,
and I can say the same thing about the Black Ops 6 open zone campaign levels. They're just so incredible. They're totally not the reason that I quit halfway through. I'm being dead serious.
That's also my concern.
Well, the reason I stopped playing was that stupid mission where you're like sneaking around the base and everything, and I didn't like it.
That was the one I stopped,
dude.
As well.
There was just too much depth.
So much.
I mean, you go from that.
It took like 2 minutes to complete because you're just walking, and then
You just
That's it.
there's so much gameplay when you go and you have to blow up SAM turrets for a good 30 minutes.
Oh,
I don't know.
Don't remind me. I hated it. I actually hated it. And yeah, and
Hey guys,
I don't know,
you
something-
find the missiles.
Oh, and
So
you
we
have
did it for 2 whole games.
and then you have supply drops that randomly drop and they give you nothing, bro.
Like I said, and that's also my concern with the campaign for Black Ops 7 is the fact that it's a co-op campaign. Modern Warfare 3's campaign felt like it was designed potentially with co-op in mind, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, and to be fair, we don't necessarily know that it was. It felt very much like you were supposed to have more players.
There was co-op.
I remember hearing that at one point.
Yeah.
And so that's my concern with Black Ops 7 is it's going to be it's a similar situation, right? You've got the marketing, which shows some very cool ideas for the campaign. But then when the campaign actually comes out, those ideas are just simply not executed or not executed well. And especially the fact that, like I said, it's been 10, or sorry, not 10 years. It's been like 13 years since, Black Ops 2. It's revisiting that story, arguably one of the best stories in the Call of Duty franchise. It's very concerning that it's going to negatively impact the legacy of that story just because they're trying to do this new co-op campaign. And I'm very worried about it. But I do feel on the flip side, it could be very cool, right? I think being able to play the campaign with your friends, being able to mess with the loadouts and stuff, those are all stuff that I really like.
I'll say this. I think it's something that Black Ops 3 tried to do, because I can tell just by the way it was like formatted. The fact that you can now finally like level up and just continue playing the campaign and doing stuff in it, you get like missions and stuff. That's super cool. That's a cool idea on paper.
Yeah.
If executed right, it could be
also
awesome.
I don't know if you guys saw in the trailer, there's going to be boss fights in campaign, like full-on boss fights. That's insane. That's going to be really cool.
Infinite Warfare had a couple of boss fights that were actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
they were kind of cool.
It did.
That's another one too. The actual campaign for Infinite Warfare does not get enough credit. I think the actual narrative itself wasn't the strongest, but the characters and stuff I feel like were really done well.
Funny robot. He was great.
No, Ethan was awesome.
Ethan was
he was
awesome.
a fantastic character.
I did love Ethan.
Like the banter amongst characters and stuff, like they felt like real people. You know what I mean? And that was the big
even the
issue
robot felt even the robot
he
felt
had
like a
personality,
real person, like Ethan. Yeah.
And I feel like that's been increasingly more of a problem in newer CODs. Is everybody is just trying to be more of a like. I'm trying to think of a way of describing it, almost like an action movie protagonist, right? Where they don't feel like an actual person.
Which
and I feel like that's kind of my issue.
Worked for like Black Ops, like the older Black Ops games.
But even then, it felt like it still took itself more seriously.
But then again, it was like the narrative drove that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, it's like you can't have it where you have to treat the narrative seriously, or at the very least have like the characters be a little bit more interesting and more feel like actual people, so I can get invested behind them. And it's just, I don't know, if it feels like there's just a lot of things that are just missing from newer campaigns. That was my thing with Black Ops 6. It's just like the characters just didn't feel all that interesting for the most part. I will say I did like Marshall's character. I think the whole part of him kind of being a nerd and making references to Marvel, I thought was actually kind of funny. But even then, it's like, give me more of this. Give me more interactions with the team. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this, right?
This kind of brings me to that scene from Black Ops 2 on, if you remember the level where Woods kills Mason on accident.
Yes.
Stuff with me. When they go in the backyard and they're just getting a beer, that
example.
It's character.
It's just prime world building.
It's so good. It's so nice to just see characters have dialogue with each other that isn't just about like a mission that they're doing, or it isn't about like some like the overall narrative, but like really vague and like annoying. It's like, we gotta kill this boss. He did bad things.
Menendez.
I'll praise
Let them feel like people.
I'll praise the BO6 campaign here. For example, what was his name? Sven? like the Swedish guy.
His
or
ass was
whatever?
not named Sven.
I don't
I
remember.
forgot what his name is.
Let's just stick to
Right,
Sven. No one knows what his name is. It's Sven now.
No.
You are now
We're
Sven.
gonna get cooked in the comments
tech
by
guy.
the few people that are watching this.
Oh god, yeah. I can't
Hold
wait.
on, I'm
to
gonna look
get
it up.
Told I'm wrong.
I'm gonna call him Narwhal. Sounds
no,
good to me.
I'll say this, right? I really enjoyed like the character interactions I had with him in the BO6 like campaign, right? Because you didn't know where he was from, what he did before. You got to learn that. I think that was also something that was really nice with the dialogue chains in BO6. You got to learn who the characters
Felix
were.
Newman.
Felix,
That's-
that's the one. Felix.
Now I want to say one thing though about BO7's campaign, which ties into BO6's.
But I think
It has the potential to be very strong, based on the fact that this is 2 games worth of story.
Hold on, let me just finish what I was saying here, because I think this is really important, right? At first, it seems to me that BO6 has like dynamic relationships, right? Kind of like Mass Effect in a way, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like at first they don't trust you because you're new and like they don't know who you are, but they're also new themselves, so they're like nervous. And then after a while, you get comfortable with each other, and then like near the end, you're like buddy with each other. You've worked hard on this mission, and so you're like
The dynamic is
getting
actively
close.
evolving.
Yes, and I like that in BO6, and I liked Felix's like character arc where he was like, "Why should I be helping you?" Whatever. So he'd say stuff like that, or like and then you'd like talk to him about your life, and he'd talk to you about like what he was, what he did with like technology and stuff. He'd show you like all the cool gizmos he had. I thought that was really cool character building, and it was like comparable to on a scale of like when Woods and Mason went to have like a beer or whatever, right? Because it's just like it's not needed, but it's nice to know that these characters have like a backstory, have like a story that they thought out, and like they want to tell you it. And I think
there's some definitely.
I agree, but I disagree.
Building.
One thing I hate about it's a Cold War issue, and it's also a BO7 issue for me, is the Telltale games, or just I'm just using that as an example. The conversation dialogue choices, it doesn't work in COD. I don't think it works in a lot of games, but it's jarringly bad in Call of Duty, and I just don't like it.
I disagree with you though.
I think. Well, hold on. I think you're both right. I feel like my issue with it is especially in like with Black Ops 6, right? What impact did it have on the story, right? It really didn't have. There was no multiple endings, nothing, right? And I feel like at the very least with Cold War, there were a few things where it would affect the story.
Multiple endings, yeah, and like the way that people would talk to you and like treat you would like change depending on what you said, which I thought was really cool.
Well,
and I don't mean in missions. I mean more so in like the safe house.
Well, the fact that it's only in the safe house, I don't mind it.
Well, I was gonna call to spoilers if you haven't played a game from 2020. The scene in the mission in Cold War where like you chase down the guy, and Park's like, "Don't kill him. We need to interrogate him for the MI5 or whatever, right?" And you can either like choose to kill him or like choose to spare him, and Park can get him.
Are you talking about the very beginning?
Pretty much, yeah. It is the very beginning.
Yeah, there's one.
The opening of the game. Yeah, and I feel like that decision did nothing to the game. I felt like it was kind of pointless.
No, it did. It did.
It did.
Because Park treated you differently depending on what you did.
Well, but Park wasn't even involved with that one. It basically just had in that one there was a bunch of.
Am I thinking about the right one then? The one where he's in the
might
chair.
Be thinking of something.
And they come down in like the helicopter and they kill the rest of them, and then the guy runs away, and you have to.
No, you're thinking. No. That's the one in the middle of the game in Germany.
Well,
that one was kind of cool.
That one was cool because depending on the outcome, Park would treat you differently. It was like
yes.
If you killed him,
I get that, but that's not the same.
And wouldn't trust you as much.
I know what you're talking about.
If you seized him and you let Park arrest them, Park would trust you more, and you two would like become more buddy with each other and like talk more, and like she would like help you. And then there was also the one in the thing where you had to choose between Park and the other guy. I think Sims, right?
Lazar.
Like or was it Bizarre? Yeah, Bizarre. Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
Lazar.
And that also affected Park because it was like if you let Lazar like live, he'd be like, you should let Park live. If you let Park live, you should let Lazar live. You know, and they feel like they shouldn't have been like chosen. They don't think they
They
should be
have
there.
survival's guilt.
Yes,
but
exactly.
I do feel like my issue with it is it felt very surface level. You know what I mean?
And again,
Because regardless of
again with my problem, there's Treyarch can't seem to
Like-
find a middle ground.
Well,
It's
hold
either
on.
too much dialogue, or there's not enough dialogue. There's
Well,
not
even if your
enough world
choices,
building, and there's too much world building that it just kind of like dampens the whole experience, right? And I think
let me make this clear. Even if your choices are surface level to an extent, like, and I know it's going to sound bad. For instance, BO2, Fareed versus Harper.
no, I agree.
Honestly, it's gun wrenching killing Harper. It is gun wrenching. I hate killing him, but you get the better ending that way. But still, to me, it's just I always took the bad ending. I don't care if Mason lived because I didn't want to kill Harper. I know it sounds weird or bad, but I never wanted to kill Harper.
Well, it's the canon.
well, but the
ending.
thing is that not only that. Well, is it?
Is
no,
it?
The canon ending to let Harper live.
Oh, never mind. I thought you said that to kill him.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at the
he's not
time,
that
people
better.
were
I don't-
saying that
That
was the
Mason-
canon ending for
yeah,
years, and I'm
Mason
like,
was
that
the
is
best,
not.
yeah.
It's the good ending. Doesn't mean it's the canon one.
But that's my big thing. Is it's one of those where it's like they need to have more impact. You know what I mean? Like
My
for
canon
example,
ending
exactly
is,
that.
Woods and Menendez in a rock band.
You know what? That is the best ending.
But that's kind of my point. Is if they're, I don't care if they're impactful as much as if they have. It's gonna sound weird, but aura behind them.
Well, yeah, it's just a basic. We're just sitting around having a conversation. Well, no, I see what he's saying. It's like just sitting around having a conversation with the safe house versus oh shit, in order to
Or,
prove
like,
your
just having a
trust,
beer.
I need you to kill someone. So, or
Yeah.
just or for example, like the whole scene with it's not even necessarily the same thing, but in Black Ops Cold War, in the scene where you get stopped in the elevator with Sakaev. And he's like asking you questions, and it's like
that
shit,
because it's tense. It's tense.
Yes, there's a level. Yeah, exactly. It's tense. And it's not just a.
Or like the
I'm
one with
bored.
like, the
I'm gonna go.
cup in the like you have to like switch the cup around and stuff, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that you're
Yeah, that matters to me. That matters to me. What I don't like is when it's pointless, useless, stupid ones, all for the sake of. You're talking. It just to me, it feels almost like I'm playing a fucking Telltale game, but none of my choices matter. And like, here's an example. Did you guys ever play the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game?
Yeah, of course it did.
Yeah, those dialogue choices did nothing. No, that's Spider-Man 3. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 game was very bad. You had those dialogue choices. Nope, that was Spider-Man 3. Either way, it had very bad dialogue choices in that game, like abysmally bad ones, because they didn't mean anything. It was just you got a little bit of world building.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, I remember, is the one where like you can't go on the ground.
You can go on the ground in that one.
No, I thought you had to like keep swinging, and then you like, if you like went down on the ground, you'd like get teleported back into the air, and you'd have to keep swinging again.
Nope.
What am I thinking of? I don't know.
Either way, that doesn't matter. My point is the dialogue choice in that game meant nothing. They were just there to say, we've got a new system, but it doesn't mean anything. It was completely meaningless, completely pointless, and really, it set the game back more than it helped it because it just felt like a gimmick. And that's what it feels in Cold War and everything like that. And honestly, I think it's better when it's just a cutscene that you're sort of playing through, like that beer scene from Black Ops 2.
I agree.
Well, and I
do
think
agree
another
with that.
problem too is I feel like I don't mind it because extra world building, right? Especially the fact of it's like, you're going through, you can select your loadout, which is something that I'm hopeful is going to be in Black Ops 7. I'm realizing I don't think they've directly confirmed it other than an in-game. But it was something I enjoyed in like Infinite Warfare, right? Where you actually could walk around a little bit. And it's like, I don't mind that, right? It's just extra dialogue between characters. But I feel like the other problem is it feels like that's kind of the extent of their character building. You know what I mean? It's like some of these like conversations don't feel like they're happening in the missions. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's my issue. Is it's like,
Well, that's kind of my point. Is it just feels like it's just
additive as opposed to the only, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining it very great, but
No,
it's got to be gameplay. No. It's got to be
I
gameplay.
think it's got to be gameplay.
Yeah.
Listen, boys, I think it's time to maybe wrap it up.
Okay.
But it's
I concur.
yes. Well, how long have we been going for? We've been going for an hour and 29. Thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of the Untitled Zombies podcast. I've been S, I guess, as usual. I know it's been a year since the last upload. I'm sorry. It's been a rocky road trying to get this sorted out, getting this episode out. I like doing this podcast, surprisingly. I bet you probably didn't know that, since I haven't done it for a year, but I do. I enjoy doing this podcast quite a bit, and
we'll be back soon.
Exactly, and I hope you guys enjoy the Untitled Zombies podcast. Any final words, everybody? As I normally do on this show, I do remember this part. This is the part I do remember. Do you guys want to shout out anything?
This is just a quick 15-20 minute spiel. No, I'm kidding. For real, big thing. Game's coming out in about a month. I'm excited to see what we get out of zombies, and I want to see just if the game is actually going to live up to the expectations, because I think the expectations are just getting higher and higher and higher when it started off at ground level.
No expectations, but no.
Sounds like you're talking about communication from Treyarch.
No, well, we didn't talk about that in this
Another
episode.
inside joke.
But we might on episode 4 of the
We
Untitled Zombies
might.
podcast. Does anybody want to take a moment to shout anything out? Give some props. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably already seen some of the older episodes, so you know that Spectre's already done this. Go and find him on Spectre Entertainment. I mean, his videos are amazing. I love Spectre's content. It's great. It's amazing. Doesn't have the hype button though.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's wild.
Yeah. But if on that note, if you want to help me get the hype button on my YouTube journey, be sure to check out the channel. And additionally, we also have a Discord server, the Spectre Entertainment Discord, which is linked on my channel. If you want to pop in, hang out. I'm trying to do more like game nights and stuff like that, and trying to actually kind of foster a community and whatnot. If you want to, hop in there, have fun, talk with me about video games, I'll be in there from time to time. And yeah,
really
like I said,
I'm keeping this in the final cut. Crazy work.
let's even
no hype button.
I'm gonna have it in my version. I'll have it on my version of the video.
Yeah, you will. No, I'll keep
no
it
hype button.
Well. I'm just kidding.
No hype button.
No hype button. I also want to just say real quick before we go, final thank you to Treyarch for listening. Finally, Jesus, took you long enough.
And thank you to Battlefield.
Thank you, Battlefield.
I see you all on the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening or watching or whatever you're doing right now. Cooking, cleaning, woman.
Thank you, Blame Truth.
Thank you, Blame Truth, for single-handedly helping the game and just saving it from despair. No, thank you for watching the Untitled Zombies podcast. I've been S, I guess, here with my co-hosts, Dogcatcher and Spectre. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it lived up to a year's worth of hype, just like Black Ops 7 will hopefully do. And yeah. Bye, guys.
Thank you.